Good morning, Grace Tribe. How are you guys this morning? Y'all let me know in the comments that you can hear me. I haven't been able to look at the comments yet this morning. Good to see you, Nancy. Good to see you, Rob and Claudia. Catherine. Wonderful to see you guys this morning. We've got about half a dozen folks that are already on. Y'all just share in the comments that you can, in fact, hear me. Feels very echoey in here to me this morning. So would love to know how that is sounding to you guys. Anyone? Bueller? Rob, good morning. Great to see you. I have had, there, someone must be able to see me. Great to see you too, can hear and see you. Thank you, Rob. So I think I may be a little stopped up in here this morning and just have a little boomy echo thing. So sorry if it doesn't sound as clear as usual. I have had a tough time getting going this morning. Anybody relate to that? You had a tough time sort of getting started with what is set before you? That has been me. Let me change. In fact, I didn't get the countdown rolling, was typing as we were getting started this morning. Thought, oh, I gotta go live right now. Go live. So I'm excited to get to be with you, but I gotta tell you, getting up today was tough. Anybody relate to that? Looking at comments. Hello, here loud and clear, Rachel says. Nancy says, yes, I am sleepy. Yesterday, I taught for about 12 hours. I think we went for about 12 hours straight. And when I got home, we had dinner as part of our gathering. And so when I got home late in the evening, I had fellowshipped and shared and discussed and massaged thoughts with a group of very sharp saints, people who are counselors in the Grace Life, incredible ministry here in Oklahoma City called Scope Ministries. And we worked through tough, complicated things, both for how we operate from Christ as our life in ministry, how do we pursue what he has given us and not operate out of fleshly agenda? How do we deal with people that are operating out of fleshly agenda for us? How do we reach for those folks that God is calling us to without having an agenda for them? It was really wonderful, but we also dealt with some complicated theological issues, and so it was not I was not coasting through those 12 hours or so yesterday. We went from about 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. with a couple of meals in between, and wow, what a day. What a blessing to get to do that. And I came home and took care of some stuff that I had not gotten to all day long just for the ministry itself, for my ministry, and fell into bed late last night. I woke up this morning and just could not pull myself together. I could not wake up, swing my legs out of bed, open my Bible, type out the notes for this morning. I just struggled. I couldn't come up with a cohesive thought this morning. I was just wiped out, wrung out. And what a great reason to be wrung out. Like, I don't begrudge that at all, but it's been a tough start for me this morning. I've got more today, working with the wonderful folks at West Metro Community Church. Excited to get to meet with the staff and elders there. Tomorrow I'll be doing ministry with their women's ministry and with a couple of leaders. And then Saturday we're doing a men's conference. I'll be preaching for them on Sunday, and then starting to work with Grace Church here in Oklahoma City later on. And finally we'll leave Tuesday. So it's not ending today. And so I thought, wow, this all has a point. I just thought, wow, I have got to figure out how to walk through what's in front of me. And I grabbed my Bible, which I don't have in front of me, but I was flipping through some of the verses that we talked through yesterday. So this morning, I didn't have much to share. I told my wife, we were texting, and I said, I am tired, can't quite get going, and don't know if I have anything to say. God's got to give it to you. I couldn't wake up. So I just want y'all to know, if there is something daunting in your circumstances today, welcome to the human experience. You are not meant to be the overcomer of the circumstances in front of you, but in Christ, you are already victorious. The problem is, and I know this, and I started to plug into this idea this morning, just trying to get up and going. My throat's even a little raspy. I'm having some allergy stuff here in Oklahoma. But our job is not to figure out how to be the overcomer. Our job is to plug into the one who already has. Let me say that again. Our job is not to figure out how to be the overcomer of what you have to deal with today, what you have to overcome. You may have some things going on today that are just daunting to you. And your job is not to stare at them until you figure out a way around them or over them or through them. Your job is to plug into Christ, to connect, and you're already plugged in and you're already connected, but to look to him who is in you and with you so that you can overcome through his overcoming. Not your job to figure out how to overcome everything that's going on, but to remember that you're plugged in to him who already has. He's already overcome. He's already victorious. You're not trying to be the victor. You're walking with the one who is your victory. When I first started this very thought, I was going to use the verse that says, always remembering the one who is with you, who's comforting you and going for you. And it's kind of a tag off of yesterday. It's a psalm. But then as I opened my Bible, one of the verses that I used yesterday, one of my favorite passages, was still open in my Bible. And it's Hebrews 7, verses 24 and 25. And so I was just typing it out to share with you this morning. It says this: because Jesus lives forever. A lot of people quote verse 25 and they miss verse 24. Because Jesus lives forever. Now, where is Jesus? He is physically seated at the right hand of the throne of God, and you are spiritually seated in him with the Father. But he is spiritually in you, where you are seated and eating and drinking your coffee and walking through whatever is before you today. So wherever you go today, Jesus is in you and with you, going through it with you. And that's great in and of itself. That's a great comfort. You're not in it alone. And where he is in his finished work, seated at rest with the Father, you're spiritually in him, right? That bilocational reality that I'm always talking about. That you are in him where he's seated and he's in you where you're seated and running and struggling and working through the things of life. That you're not doing that alone, and you get to live from who and where you are in Christ, where he is. But because he's always living, Christ in you, because he lives forever, verse 24 says, he has a permanent priesthood. His role in being the priest interceding for us doesn't change forever. So verse 25 says, therefore he's able to save completely, to save you. When you accepted him, he saved you from your sin and from your history and from your downfall and from your future and for your eternity. He's always and forever in the process of saving you completely from everything, past, present, and future. He is always able to save you completely. Those who come to God through him. And here's why. Because his living forever means he always lives to intercede for them. So Jesus, right now, today, as you are walking through what you are walking through, as you are looking toward what you have to go through today, as I was trying to say, okay, God, you've got to give me something to share with these people this morning. I can't quite wake up and get the legs under me and the mind working and wear my glasses, and I have to go to the lobby to get coffee. As I was just trying to survive this morning and get excited about what God has for me today, I came across this verse again that I used yesterday in our teaching, that God is in it with you and for you, because Jesus, who is in you and with the Father, is living to intercede for you. He's always living, and he's in you, and he's with the Father, and he's always living to intercede for you. The one who overcomes everything on your behalf, the one who has saved you completely, the one who is living in you and is living through you as you depend upon him and his grace, which is your act of faith. The one to whom you are available as a spiritual act of worship for him to live through you, that one is actually interceding for you today in everything you do with the Father whom he's with. He's with you where you are, and he's interceding with God for you where he is right now, every moment, every day, every circumstance, without fail. So in this moment, my wanting to figure out what to share with you this morning in my foggy, hazy, tired brain that he'll work out as I get going, need more coffee. God's interceding for me, for you. Isn't that great? I'm wanting to have something to share with you, and Jesus himself is interceding with me, with the Father, for what he wants to do through me with you. So whatever you're dealing with, if you find yourself in traffic today, remember who you're with. The one who's interceding with the Father for you. The one who is overcome so that you, get this, you don't have to be the one to overcome. You don't have to be the one to figure it out. You don't have to be the one who produces the solution. You don't have to be the one who produces the love. You don't have to be the one who overcomes the obstacles to reach the goal that God has put on your heart, because what God is calling you to today is himself, and calling you to himself in Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ, whom you're already with and is already in you, is interceding for you. In other words, what he's calling you to today is exactly where you already are in Jesus Christ. It's a pretty comforting reality that whatever's on your list today, Jesus is already the victor, and he's already interceding for you with the Father, and he's already engaging in you for what he alone can do through you. So let me just encourage you, before you deal with the potential failures of what you're afraid of not being able to get done today. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can overcome it. I don't think I have what's necessary. I don't have the energy. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the whatever. I can't. You're right. You should just resign right now as the CEO of this day. You can't do it. Stop wondering if you can do it. Let me just tell you, you can't do it. But God can. And he plans to, in the person of Jesus Christ in you. He always intended to. So my job today is not to get it done for God. My God today is to let God work through Christ in me for what only he could do in the first place. When Paul said, in our weakness, in my weakness, I am strong. And so he's going to celebrate in his weakness, and he's going to, in essence, cheer in his own fallibility. Why? Because the weaker he can embrace he is, then the more fully he can experience what only Christ could ever have done through him in the first place. The stronger I think I am for the moment, the less likely I'm going to live dependently. So the greatest potential for the miraculous life for you today is in your most incapable moments, where only what Christ is doing can work, but Christ always intended to do the work through you. Isn't that wonderful? The most daunting things that you have to deal with today, the things that you are least equipped for, have the least energy for, have the least competency for, have the least idea for, those are the very things that you have the greatest potential to experience divine life, because you could never do it before. You're just more convinced in those circumstances of your own inability. So you have the greatest potential of walking in divine availability so that you can experience God's infinite capability, participating in his divine life. So where you think you can't get it done today, man, just speaking from my heart in this moment for what I'm sharing with you right now, that's the absolute best place to be, because resign as CEO of today in your life and follow the one who already has overcome, who already is the victor, who is already with you and working through you, who is already with the Father, interceding for you for what only he can do in you and only he can accomplish through you, so that you don't have to be the producer and fixer and controller and victor. You get to walk with the one that you're with, walk with the one that's in you, enjoy the life. You're not trying to overcome the day, you're working to live from that connectedness, that plugged inness of Christ's life in you. Give up right now on producing and overcoming and fixing and causing what is necessary for this day. Give up before you fail at it in the flesh, so that he can begin living through you like only he can in the first place. Your job is not to live the Christian life to the glory of God. Your job is simply to let him who is your life do the living through you. I have absolutely no confidence in my competence for the Christian experience. I have great confidence, Christ confident hope in his capacity to intercede for me with the Father and to live his life divinely through me. And my participation is just to let him. I've said it before, but God's verb, Christ's verb in my life is living, right? I've been crucified and I'm no longer the one doing the living. His verb is living. He's doing the living. What is necessary is up to him to do. My verb is not doing the living. My verb is doing the letting. My verb is letting. So I do the letting as Christ does the living, and where my faith meets his grace and my weakness uncovers his strength, then his grace accomplishes his glory. In my experience in Christ's divine life, I get to share with him today. I hope that's an encouragement for you. It's all I got. it's what God. I was changing the name of this thing as we were getting started. So my hope is that you will walk today in the fullness that only Christ can produce in and through you. And the sooner you and I give up being the source of that, the sooner we get to enjoy in the midst of our physical, circumstantial, historical weakness, get to love and experience and express his divine life by his grace and for his glory. Let me encourage you today. Your goal is just to know him more as he does the living and you do the letting, that you get to grow in grace as you depend upon him more. I'm certainly depending upon him this morning, and that's exactly where he wants me to be. So I can grow in his grace, not grow in my competence. And as I do those things, know him more, grow in grace, I get to go by faith and let God love others like crazy, and you do too, through each of us like only he can. So love you guys. I cannot wait. I really can't. Though I was tired and had a hard time getting up and going this morning, that doesn't mean I could be any more excited to get to share with y'all again tomorrow. So know that I love you. Know that God is with you. Know that he has gone before you, and he's going to do what only he can do in and through you today. So start enjoying it right now. Talk to you guys soon.